Recording. You still have to say record. You still have to do it.
Recording.
It's part of the.
There was some sass. There was some sass with that recording.
Mm-hmm. Was there?
Mm-hmm.
Was there? I don't like that. I'm trying to unsass this podcast. That's what I'm trying to do.
Good luck, bitch. I'm still here. Yeah.
I'm bringing that sass out of you, motherfucker.
With that mustache, yeah, you are, Daddy.
This is the sass. This is the sass machine. Oh boy! But it's sucking right out of you, young boys.
My sass. Just leaving my body.
Yeah, you're gonna respect me now. You respect me now.
I'm putting that sass on your tongue, Daddy.
I was supposed to do a cold open on what we're talking about tonight. Stop it. All right. All right, here we go. This is what we're talking about tonight. Before you guys get lost, talking about my beautiful mustache.
Yeah.
Tonight we're gonna be diving into how a rogue faction of Soyjak posting internet goblins blew the doors off of the internet's darkest corner. This is a story that just turned like last week as the day of this recording. When this recording to be released, I have no idea. But we're recording about 10 days after the fact, 11 days after the fact. These Soyjak posting internet goblins blew the doors off of the internet's darkest corners and exposed that the janitors, the moderators, and some of the users were literal government spooks. We're gonna be talking about the 4chan hack, motherfuckers.
4chan hack. 4chan hack.
Welcome to the Y-Files. We talk about weird shit that happens on the internet. Part of the larger network of the LKP network, our other project, the Lesser Known People podcast, is still out there floating around. Check it out. LesserKnownPeople.com. You can check out my website, LesserKnownPeople.com/the Y-Files. You can find some more episodes there. I'm joined with two of my very sexual brothers tonight. I'm gonna go bottom bun up. That's the way I see it. Bottom bun up. KY Gelatin, how are you?
My eyes are blue, but my brownest dye is for my boys.
I know that's right.
You've experienced it. You've become it. I'm well. I am half gaped. Looking forward to being a full gaping.
Good. I'm glad to have you here, man. I enjoy the banter. I enjoy teaching you about things in the internet that you don't know exist. KY Jelly can't read. For those who don't know. So.
And I'm voluntarily illiterate.
Yeah, that's right. We know that's right. He chooses what not to read.
That's right.
Con baby, take me away from KY Gelatin. Tell me, how are you, Connor?
I'm great.
The coat rack.
Like, I knew when this happened. I heard the news stories, and I was like, yes, I cannot wait to talk about this, because I knew this was going to come up. And I was like, yes, I do want to. I'm a little lost on the Soyjak boys, the soy boys. So I mean, I'm ready to get into it.
I actually have like a whole glossary set aside for this episode, just to describe some of the terminology that's used, especially on places like 4chan and Soyjak.party, which is the other entity that we'll be talking about tonight.
Yeah, when I heard about this, just for any listeners or viewers, I mean, I know that 4chan is a website and that it's like pretty fucking gross. It's like a super gross version of Reddit, is basically how I understand it. And that's kind of it. I've never been on it. I've never seen it. I don't know what it looks like. So just if you're unfamiliar with this but interested, I'm on your team. Yeah, your team KY.
Well, actually, I want to touch on exactly what 4chan is. Just 1 second. I'm going to put a pause right now. Sorry, I didn't turn my fucking heater off.
God.
Amateur hour.
Yeah, it is. Oh, with the magic of editing, we're back. Or I won't fucking.
And we're back.
Anyways, let's touch on what 4chan actually is. So 4chan is an image board. Do you guys know what an image board is?
I mean, I know what those two words are.
Okay. Well, essentially, an image board is just an anonymous posting website where you can go and just post images and usually text. There's usually like no identity built into them. That's where you get the term like anon. Everyone's referred to as anonymous. So on Reddit, the posters almost always referred to as OP. It is kind of like that on 4chan, but often referred to individuals as anon because everyone's anonymous on 4chan. Now, speaking of image boards, 4chan is the granddaddy of image boards. It's pretty old. It was launched in 2003
wow.
by a guy named Christopher Moot Poole, who's there's a little bit of a backstory there. I don't think we have the time to like jump into that too much. We'll just keep on topic a little bit. But
wait, can I ask, is he morbidly obese or crazy skinny?
I think he's actually crazy skinny.
Yes, it's always one of the two.
I will look into if that's true or not, because I'm a hefty boy, so everyone's fucking pretty skinny to me. You know what I mean?
I did actually see a random meme the other day that said, if you're a man under 200 pounds, you're not a man. And I was like, wow, you are really counting a lot of people out of the masculine pool there. Holy fucking hell.
I mean, I walk around over 200 pounds. I can get behind that one.
Well, yeah, but I'm over 200 pounds, but I got a set of tits that you could suck. Like, Jesus.
You have awfully supple nipples.
Yeah, dude. I got some puffy tits if you're into that. Perverts.
You nasty fuck. Yeah, I
am. See, maybe I should be on 4chan. I don't know.
Yeah.
You actually, that
would fit right in.
Your place to roll around, dude.
Oh, I can finally let all my racist stuff. No.
I mean, okay, so let's talk about 4chan. Let's get the weird elephant out of the room. 4chan is an old school image board, and there's a lot of racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, anti everything can be found on 4chan. There's a lot of hard R's. There's a lot of interesting words for unusual sets of people that I've never even heard of before.
Hang on, interesting words for unusual sets of people. That's a t-shirt. Holy shit.
Yeah, actually, I'll write that down because I'm selling t-shirts now on our meme page. So big things that come out of 4chan are like Pepe Frog memes.
Yes, I have seen those.
So I for one really love Pepe Frog as a meme. Probably one of my favorite meme things ever, just because I see Pepe Frog doing fucking everything, crying, being sad. Now Pepe, it wasn't originally related to 4chan. It was just adopted by 4chan.
Yeah. I've seen some articles it's like a webcomic. Like the author of those comics has he's been like trying to take it back.
Yeah, that guy's name is Matt Fury. Or Matt Fury. I don't know how to say his name. I'm not the guy. I'm not to call up, not to dig up the dead. I'm just not the guy for that.
Not the guy.
So the other thing to talk about as far as memes go. Okay, let's go back to 4chan. 4chan is super basic. Look, it's a super basic layout, easy to read, easy to interact with. You click, you post anonymously. You can pretty much say whatever you want. It's essentially the Wild West. There was a couple of places that have splintered off from 4chan. A couple of like the extremely radical motherfuckers were like, damn, 4chan is just way too heavily moderated and policed. So they created a fucking 8chan where they could be ultra racist, which is like where like Q was hanging out, right. And like all of that situation was going down. 8chan is gone. It's no longer around. It has been turned into 8kun, which is it's essentially 8chan just run in a different place, I think, by a different set of moderators, I guess, or a different set of hosters. So the next thing that we need to talk about is what happened to 4chan. 4chan was hacked by a offshoot of 4chan. And we talked about 8chan being an offshoot of 4chan. There's several other offshoots. One of those offshoots being Soyjak.party.
Okay, you gotta explain what this is.
Okay, Soyjak.party is a little bit difficult to understand because you have to understand a layer of internet memes to understand just the name of the fucking thing.
Which is like I think it's a great thing about the internet that you can layer memes and layer like jokes that could be 20 years old. You could layer that shit on there and then it becomes something else. But it is hard to get new people into those places that have no experience with those things.
Exactly. To explain someone what Soyjak.party is would mean I have to explain to you what a soyjack is. And to explain to you what a soyjack is, you have to understand what a Wojak is.
It's just like oh god.
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling. But okay,
Yeah.
Wojak, super easy. It exists on Reddit a lot. It's a picture of a guy drawn as if he's a neckbeard and he's like got glasses and he's crying.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's a Wojak. A Soyjak is the same thing, except it represents a soy boy, someone who's like overly emotional, cries a lot, real bitchy.
Oh, okay.
Well,
A soy
someone,
boy.
which someone would consider very like liberal. No. So Soyjak.party is a offshoot of 4chan. It looks exactly like 4chan. It's an image board. Like all of the script is the same. Clearly, it's the same thing. So Soyjak.party is an offshoot of people who like to make Soyjak memes. So apparently, somewhere along the line on 4chan, people were like, "Stop with the fucking Soyjak memes," and then a group of people were like, "All right, fine, fuck 4chan," and left.
We'll start our own bullshit image board with a bunch of this shit on it.
I actually don't know the real reason why Soyjak.party splintered off. I don't know the real reason behind it. I really don't. I was just giving an example of what may have happened, but yeah, it more than likely is just a differing in opinion somewhere by the overall group, and then these people just left and created their own thing. And then there's several other weird chans broken off from that, which we don't need to get into. It's so heavy and weird.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of like the question that was raised in my mind is like, if it's an anonymous image board, how do you have people sort of coalescing into groups?
Right.
Or like, how do you identify someone that posted yesterday if they're posting today?
Well,
like, how do you know that's the same person?
Sometimes people provide a name or a moniker.
Okay.
When posting.
Do they get like anon with a number and then they're always the same number? Like they still have the same username, or is it always a fresh anon?
It's always a fresh anon unless you're attached to a thread. Then you might.
Then you become like OP.
Then you can know you really can respond to the other anon. Through context, you can understand when people are arguing with each other just by reading through, which makes interacting with the conversation quite engaging, especially like when there's images and videos and things like that attached, and big opinions that people can scream from the mountaintops without moderation. So it makes it truly the Wild West where things can be said. Which is kind of fucking wild.
I was just going to add that I did hear a term that I think applies here, which is called forking, where you have your kind of like your handle of the fork is like your main is 4chan, and then at some point it splits off into these little tines that are in the same exact line as the original, except slightly different. Like they're running in parallel to each other. So 4chan was the original, and then it was 8chan, Soyjak.party. All these things are kind of like replicas of it, but imitations that are just slightly different.
Exactly, with a different mindset and maybe a different direction, a slightly different personality, and even
right.
Where clearly, there felt like there was once 4chan went down, which was recently, it was down for 10 days. Once it went down, and you went to some of these other chans, you could see like these posters that would post all the time in 4chan suddenly popping up in Soychan or Soyjak.party, or suddenly popping up in 8kun, which used to be 8chan. So let's talk about the hack. Let's talk about like what actually went down. So Soyjak.party is a splinter group of 4chan, and they have historically attacked 4chan by conducting raids.
Sorry, it also seems so like childish. Like, we're gonna raid your fort with our fort and pillow fight and run away.
Essentially, it's what it is. They go on there and they post like severed dicks and like call people, crazy names and like
really racist stuff.
Really racist shit. Yeah, just as an attack, personal attacks, threats, things like that. Like, things that you can get away with saying on image boards that are unmoderated. That kind of crazy wild shit, which makes it attractive to certain people. So anyways,
yeah, but like who?
Well,
I mean, are there people out there that are like, oh, sorry guys, I can't make it to softball practice tonight. I've got to be online, and I've got to go raid 4chan.
Yeah,
and post a bunch of like cut off dicks to that website.
I know.
That is such a great question, Con Man. Who? Oh man, the hack actually exposed that answer and exposed that, and the answer is like kind of wild. I can't tell you exactly who the users are, who the end users are, but I know that at least some of the moderators, some of the moderators, and some of the janitors, the jannies, were actually glowies, which is an internet term for a federal agent.
Glowy. Why are they called glowies?
Sometimes on on image boards and back when Reddit was a little bit more unhinged, federal agents would get on and they'd be pretending to sell things or pretending to buy things to try to find information, and it would look so obvious that the poster was a federal government agent that they would say that the post is glowing.
I see.
Nah. So
always something.
Always something weird.
This is why you're here, though. We need to learn about the internet culture that is beyond the standard Google search.
You got to get walk through it, man, because unless you go and you live through it and understand it through contextually digesting it, which I'm telling you right now, like unless you want to turn on your VPN, get on fucking DuckDuckGo and go to 4chan.org and see heads explode and shit like that on random. That's the fun place. The random page. There's a lot of other pages on 4chan. I should say that before I jump into the hack and what it actually was. 4chan does have a lot of interesting and good tips and posts where it is heavily moderated about like technology and video games and drawing and arts and things like history, things like that. There's a lot of good information to be had and good communities to get involved in on 4chan that are moderated, where like you can't get away with like hard R's and death threats and dick chopping and things like that. So just to say that. But let's get into the hack real quick. The people from Soyjak.party, they were getting their raids shut down quite quickly. So someone staged a hack. Now, hacks a lot of time involve some social engineering where you need to talk to someone, engage with them, get information or access to some physical device or some physical barrier. In this case, this was a hack, old school, required no physical or no interpersonal manipulation at all. So someone in Soyjak.party exploited the fact that 4chan would let you upload texts, images, and PDFs. And they found that they could upload PDFs with commands that could ultimately get inside of the code of the website. And they were able to expose the email addresses of the moderators and janitors of some of the more interesting pages like Politically Incorrect and the Random page. what they found was there were quite a few government email addresses associated with moderators out there, and they also found, so on the page politically incorrect, that's where you're going to find the most, let's call it anti-Israel posts.
Jesus, wasting no time getting in there.
That's where you're going to find people really running around with their, small mustaches, arms up,
Not great looks.
Real American History X sort of folks hanging around there.
Some people would call them patriot. No, I'm kidding.
You can't see. You're way too white for that.
I know, and I'm bald. It's not.
Yeah,
I can't fuck around. I need a black person to be like shaking their head with me as permission to make those jokes. Yeah.
Everyone can imagine that swastika on the inside of your fucking sweater right there, my dude.
It's Eddie Bauer, which might as well be a swastika. No,
it pretty much is. Yeah, it's just a fancy cursive swastika.
It just displays my whiteness, not my racistness.
Let me push this on through. So they also exposed that the largest contributors to the page, politically incorrect, were coming from locations in Israel.
Yikes!
Which means that most of the anti-Semitic remarks, or it could be the rebukes, but a lot of the anti-Semitic remarks are actually coming out of that country itself, which raises a huge question.
Yeah.
About, those motivations, is Mossad running some sort of program or, social engineering program through 4chan, politically incorrect board to keep spreading the hate in order to push an agenda somehow. I don't really know, but begs the question.
There was all that news about like these, and I'm not trying to pull us in a different direction, but the Russian cells, like confirmed, known that there were during the 2020 election, that there was a lot of the fake news coming out on social media for all these memes and these pages and people posting and blah, blah, blah. And they were just fake accounts created by these like Russian cells to do just that. So like, it is not hard to believe that there might be a coordinated effort by some folks that have a special interest in these things.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would not be doubtful of that at all. Especially if anyone can jump in there and anyone can influence anyone over the grand span of things. If you're for your free rights and your freedom of speech and your freedom of platform, then you kind of have to be open to the government manipulating you on those platforms. You have to be open to their freedom to do so.
Right. And at this point, because it's the internet, any government.
Exactly. Now, what the internet can do is, create these little offshoots, these little crazy side chans that go and expose other side chans and war with each other or whatever they do. In this case, perhaps, they did a little bit of good in depending on where you sit with things. Maybe they did some bad. I don't know. Who knows how this actually weighs out, but it's an interesting story nonetheless. And it's something that has just gone down. I'll give you the exact date on this. This site was hacked April 14th. It was down for 10 days. It came back yesterday. Today's April 26th, 2025, the day of this recording. Damn. I know this episode's not going to come out anywhere near this date, but that's when we recorded it. So,
and did it wipe out everything that was on there?
Everything that was on 4chan?
Yeah.
No, it did.
It just took down the service.
Yeah, so the service was shut down for the 10 days. I just checked last night. 4chan was up and running. And it seems a little bit quiet. It seems a little bit, everyone's got their guard up in there. People are posting a lot less, especially with some of the crazier shit that you might find.
I mean, maybe in and of itself, maybe that's a good thing. To just
I would say so.
Everybody just got like a 10-day vacation of like, hey, you don't have to fucking shit post on the internet all day.
Yeah. Exactly.
Take a little
Go
break,
outside.
touch some grass. See how
Go
that
be a
feels.
human being. Go be a human being.
Go for a walk, 5-minute walk. It's just nice. Like, stop being racist online for 5 fucking seconds.
What a great point. What a great point. Yeah, I just gave everyone the ability to be a human being for the day, for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Fuck, maybe they should hack that shit more often. I'll say I poke around 4chan because I have my finger on the pulse of the internet. But I've never posted on 4chan. Never once in my life.
Wow, that mustache is getting a little close together.
Maybe I might have to shave this down a few and get these fingers a wiggling up there. In that keyboard.
Every episode of the Y-Files, your mustache gets smaller and smaller.
Depending on who I hate, I only need a handful of letters. Let's go.
This is gonna be great. Oh God.
Yeah.
Interesting though. And so it was I guess big takeaways are government emails where you were being like with moderators and the janitor people.
Exactly.
And then influence out of Israel for the anti-Semitic stuff.
Exactly. Big takeaways. Big takeaways there.
I mean, but still, that's bananas though. Like those two things are pretty big. And is anything gonna happen though?
And no, I highly doubt it. It really exposes what people have been saying for fucking years is that the people on the other end of this are fucking government spooks. So like quit it. Like stop trying to sell fucking drugs. Stop trying to like have fucking weird meetups. Trying to share your fucking underage porn, you fucking nerds. Can't say the things I want to say.
Yeah, those are pre-recording comments we'll save. But yeah, I mean that, and maybe that's a takeaway for anybody that listens to this is like, you know, when we were kids, it was be careful on the internet because you don't know who's on the other side. Now it's like, be careful because it isn't your friends. It is likely someone who is not your friend.
Exactly. And here's a fact about 4chan. Every time you go there, it aggressively tries to identify your server. So like, yeah, don't ever go there without a VPN.
Yeah, like it's just not worth fucking around with some of this.
Anyway, yeah, so that's the 4chan hack, man. It's a lot of cool shit. A lot of cool shit there. I learned about. I had to get into Reddit to learn about the story initially because there, as of today, there's not a whole lot of articles written about it, like in true depth, and no one really wants to point exact fingers and say, yes, government stuff. I've seen a lot of the screenshots. The Soyjak.party guys were pretty quick to share everything that they could find because they fucking hate those guys. The storyboard, like it's pinned to the top, that was pinned to the top for 10 days was 4cuck gets hacked.
It's also fucking childish, though.
It's so childish,
and it's entertaining, though. It is so entertaining.
So funny. Anyways, that's the 4chan hack. Thank you guys for coming to the Y-Files. If you like it, come follow us, subscribe, come to the website, check us out, come follow us on socials. I love you guys. I really fucking appreciate it. If you want some more of these types of videos, more of these types of stories, hit me up, let me know, send me a message on our socials with some ideas, and we'll definitely get it done. Facebook, that's the best place. Hit me up on Facebook.
Oh, Sean, when you're cutting those lines, don't break my china. Don't you break my china, Sean, no. I'm a 32-year-old man, and this is the first time I've ever had a set of dishes that actually didn't have those.